Alright, what's good everybody? Tea Leaves coming at you with another vid. It's been a while, but I hope your holiday has been fantastic, whichever holiday you observed. Let's take a look at who I think will finish in the top 6 in La Liga based on the first half of the season, basically prior to the festive period, because we're not really halfway through La Liga yet. And of course, not all the teams have played the same amount of games, so we got to keep that in mind as we go through the video. Sixth, they got Villarreal. Now, don't get me wrong, Unai Emery has done a great job. They look solid in the back with players like Pau Torres, Jaime Costa, players like those. You know, Pau Torres, of course, being linked with some bigger clubs potentially. Of course, then you got players like Harold Moreno, who's been doing bits up front. Danny Parejo, and Francis Coquelin. Of course, they stole from Valencia, who, freaking Valencia, they're run so terribly. Villarreal are setting the example in that region of Spain right now, with their transfer acumen stealing from their local rivals, and of course, also just looking great in the league. I mean, Herrera Moreno and Alcacer have scored 13 goals between them, but there's a problem in itself. They've got two principal goal scorers. They've had to rely on Moreno and Alcacer for 13 of their 20 league goals. They've had more draws than wins. They've only scored 1.3 goals per game in the league. So whenever one or both of the forwards for Villarreal are not firing, you're relying on people like Chukwueze or Kubo who aren't actually that prolific right now. It's not going to be enough going forward. So because their attack is shaky and they don't win enough games, just straight up, they will finish sixth. Fifth, I'm going to have Real Sociedad based on current form, based on the fact that they've actually played the most games out of anyone in the current top six in La Liga. Who I think those teams there will constitute the final top six, but that's another story. Real Sociedad, that's a team who, right now, they're not scoring enough on their own end, and they'll be exposed further as the season progresses. I mean, don't get me wrong, players like David Silva, he's looked great since moving to Sociedad from Man City. Oyarzabal is going to be snapped up by a bigger team. He's already got 7 goals so far this season. He looks really, really good. Another Sociedad Academy product. Of course, you've got the likes of Robin Lenormand, who I've been impressed with, and of course, you've got the likes of Alexander Isak, who's all right, and Mikel Merino, who looks a different animal at Sociedad. Now, these are all good players. All good players. I don't think it's going to be enough to put Sociedad in a Champions League spot by the end of the day. They've, of course, got the Europa League to contend with, too, in February. I don't expect them to go past Man United, but you never know. And if they do, I mean, they'll still be in the Europa League for a while longer. So, Thursday nights, not really ideal. And their squad, might get to the point where they're relying on academy youngsters towards the latter end of the season with the fixture congestion. And I don't think that's going to necessarily work in their favor because they'll be relying on more raw academy products rather than finished products like Oyarzabal. Okay, fourth, I'm going to have Barcelona. And of course, Messi does not look like Messi by Messi's own standards, so to speak. He looks a shadow of himself. Now, he's still got 7 goals on the season. He's still, doing what he can for Barcelona. And that's, of course, 7 goals in the league. He's doing what he can, but he's not the same Messi, at least this season. I don't think he's finished, but I think he's clearly jaded with the situation surrounding the club. Terribly run club. And, of course, the team right now looks pretty awful. Jordi Alba's donezo. Center backs, less said about PK and Longley, the better. Serginho Dest probably looks like the only bright spark on the team. That's sad to say. Some American right back they signed from PSV last season, who looked really good. Only really looked great last season. That's where all the transfer interest came from. Imagine that's where all the bright things are happening in Barcelona. Messi's not playing up to snuff. Busquets, De Jong, not really working as a 2. Coutinho barely plays. You got Pedri, who, okay, he could be something. there's something in there, but he's still young, still developing. Give him time. And then of course Griezmann sucks in Barcelona at least. They tried to buy Griezmann without actually accommodating a system for him. And of course you've got Lord Martin Braithwaite. Lord Martin Braithwaite. That's a good one. No. Just going through that team of Barcelona players, and the best player is Serginho Dest this season. I wouldn't even say Messi has been at times the best player this season, even though he's definitely, some will say the greatest of all time. I would, some would, but he doesn't look at this season. So we'll see if he goes anywhere else soon, and we'll see if that allows Griezmann to flourish. This season, Barcelona are finishing fourth. They don't look very good. They can't even beat a Valencia team that's going to battle relegation at home. This Barcelona team, just not the same. Third place, I have Sevilla. Sevilla, a team that I find is neither defensive nor attacking. Lopetegui just likes to hold on to the ball as long as he can for periods of time. Just try to keep everything calm, slow, steady. Wouldn't really say I'd say he's a balanced coach. Pragmatic, but not pragmatic defensively. Pragmatic is in, he'll do what he needs to do to keep the pace of the game in his control. And, with players like Koundé, he looks great. Defensively, very solid. Attack-wise, they could get a little bit more, actually a lot more in La Liga. They've only scored 15 goals in 13 games in La Liga. So, you get more from them, get more from players like En-Nesyri, Luke de Jong up top. They're capable of it. They haven't found that yet. And even though they look pretty bad going forward, Barcelona score a lot of their goals, and yet they still concede enough to lose the same amount of games. Whereas Sevilla, they're usually able to grind out the result even with it, however few goals they've scored. And I think they've got too much talent to only score this many goals. I think we'll see En-Nesyri and Luke de Jong pick up the pace soon enough. Second, I will have Real Madrid. Now, this is not a Real Madrid team that is pretty by any stretch of the imagination. Their midfield is aging. Modric and Kroos, they're getting older. Casemiro's still very good. Benzema's still very good. Of course, Karim Benzema, 8 goals in La Liga this season, doing his thing. He looks great. He looks really great. Wingers, Hazard, and this is really sad because he was one of the best players in the world at Chelsea. And now he's overweight and injured all the time. Really sad to see. And then, of course, you get players like Rodrigo and Vinicius who don't offer enough end product for me. They're not, well, Vinicius especially, he's not good enough. He hasn't come good. I think he's not really Real Madrid ready. Rodrigo, I think there's something there. He could come good, but again, I think you need more if you're a Real Madrid fan from those two in particular. Ferland Mendy doesn't fill me with any optimism as a left back, and whenever Ramos is not in the team for any injury or a red card or suspension of any kind, Varane looks like a lost child in a supermarket. It's just not the same. I don't know what's going on with him. He used to look like one of the best center backs in the world. Now, all of a sudden, you can't go a game without some random ass error where he just out of position, bad pass. I don't know what he's doing. He's not 2018 World Cup winning Varane, that's for sure. I don't think he starts for that French national team. And yeah, Real Madrid, they just do not look pretty. It's a hodgepodge of young prospects and older players and injury-prone players. I think they're going to have a lot of work to do next summer once they're actually spending money to clear out some deadwood and get some fresh faces in to boost their squad and make them Champions League contenders again. But this season, I'm going to have Atletico Madrid winning the league. That Joao Felix and Luis Suarez partnership up top looks very good. Luis Suarez going for as little as he did to Atletico from Barcelona is a crime in itself. Barcelona should be ashamed of themselves for letting that happen. Luis Suarez does not look like he has skipped a beat. He's doing what he was doing at Barcelona, just in a different team in La Liga. And of course, that Cholo Simeone defense only conceding 5 goals so far in La Liga. Typical Simeone masterclass. People were saying he was finished last season after Leipzig. I think it's too easy to get on that Simeone train. And look, I think also La Liga's played into his hands more this season. Let's be honest. It's become a more defensive league. You have the likes of Messi and Ronaldo leaving, so that already takes, well, Messi's not the same, but once Ronaldo left, that's 40 goals a season already out of the door, La Liga. And of course, Messi's production dropping. So that's about 50 to 60 goals lost in La Liga. It's not as attack minded as it used to be because a lot of those managers also, of course, left for other leagues. They came back, became more pragmatic. I mean, Pep Guardiola is not the guy who's there anymore. We're not. It's just not seeing the same kind of play that we saw even 5, 10 years ago in La Liga. It's a more defensive league with less attacking quality. You have teams like Getafe and Cadiz who are out there these days. Teams that need to rely on the counterattack to do it, and that just plays into Cholo Simeone's hands. And he's the master of it. He's the master of sitting up, defending, and breaking when necessary, and getting a result. And he's going to do it this season. I think this will be a fine work, fine artistry, just a fine team that he's put together. Probably one of his greatest achievements. He's had to rebuild this whole team. No Godin, no Thiago, no, no, we're not dealing with those. We're not dealing with those older legends of the club. We're dealing with new players like Joao Felix, Mario Hermoso, Renan Lodi. We're dealing with these guys. So, you got these guys coming in, creating a new Atletico Madrid. They're going to win the league. And of course, Jan Oblak, best goalkeeper in the world for me. I don't care what you Liverpool fans say. Alisson's too injury prone for me. And you Man City fans, Ederson leaves his line way too much. Alrighty. That's the end of the video. Ciao.